Good morning, Bear Nation. Hi, Dana. Good to see you here. Megadeth, good morning. Peace sells, but who's buying? The answer is nobody on the entire globe right now, apparently, except maybe the Bear Nation, which unfortunately, or fortunately, is not everybody. However, it is 90,715 of you. So good job, everybody. If you're new here and you'd like to, please subscribe and hit the little bell icon. We're on a big push, 100K by 4 day. Mrs. Sanders, good morning. Roger Rabbit Hole, shalom, brother. I would like to be at 100,000 subs by the 4th of July. 100K by 4 day. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Stephen. Art Frost, shalom, brother. Buenos dias. Mi nombre es el oso independiente. Los dengli poblanos es muy fuerte y guapo. Okay. One of the things, Craig Canton, good morning. One of the pieces of feedback that we've been getting a lot is that, hey Bear, I follow you on YouTube, but they never give me notifications. Mohawk in Spanish. Good morning, Gobra 2. But they never notify me when you go live. Your wife and I should be chicken sisters. She's gonna need about 100 more sisters if she has chicken sisters. Good morning, NWA Prepper. Good morning, brother. Yes, it's getting squirrely out there. We're about to talk about it. So one of the complaints that we've been getting is YouTube doesn't notify me when you go live, Bear. Well, we've stated repeatedly, and I try not to be obnoxious about it, but YouTube doesn't like us. We don't like them back. So every morning when I do these briefs, I post a link to Patreon that does send out a notification. So if you're a $1 or up patron, you'll get a notification when I go live through Patreon. If the only reason you joined Patreon was for the brief, which we post the entirety of this report along with all the supporting pictures and documentation the night before on Patreon every time we do one of these, as well as a whole bunch of other reports that we oftentimes just don't have the time to address via live stream. If the only reason you supported the show was because of the intel report, you'd spend somewhere around 3 to 4 cents per report. So, in addition to all the exclusive content that exists there, otherwise, we just did an exclusive Patreon live stream hangout last night. I've got a Zoom mastermind call coming up for the $50 tier fairly soon. We do exclusive phone calls, consults, the best words, it's certainly, consults with our upper level patrons. The loot box giveaway, which is a mini stomp bag right now, is the loot box giveaway. There's lots of stuff going on at Patreon, so it's not just give me $1 because you like me. There's a lot of equitable content there and exclusive stuff that you'll never see here because YouTube doesn't like us. We can't talk about it here. So thank you for being here. 90,715 of you need a head check, but because of COVID-19 and rioting, you're probably gonna have a hard time finding a medical professional anytime soon, but I appreciate you. Intel at bearindependent.com. Intel at bearindependent.com. That's where all of this intel comes from. It comes from y'all. You send it to the dance monkeys. The head dance monkey in charge compiles all of that, spits this report out to me. I take it, I make notes, I bring it to y'all. This is how it works. So it begins with you, and thank you for that. By the way, thank you, brother, for the cup. It's awesome. And thank you, other brother, who sent the coffee that's in the cup. And by the way, thank you, Cal, that made the heavy cream that's in the coffee. And I can and often do drink coffee black, but I've had enough bad coffee in my life that I've essentially decided that if I'm gonna drink coffee, I'd like to drink coffee that I enjoy drinking rather than just punish myself with bitter wickedness if I can help it. Okay? Okay. Bear Independent Intel Report, 5 June 2020 overview. Number of confirmed cases worldwide and in the U.S. continues to climb. As of the time of this reporting, official COVID numbers We might have to start putting rioting numbers with the COVID numbers as well. The official COVID numbers, global cases are 6,679,000. Active cases are 3,061,000. Global deaths are 391,000. Global recoveries are 3,226,000. U.S. cases are just shy of 2 million U.S. cases, 1,922,000, with 1,106,000 active. U.S. deaths are at 110,130 COVID-related deaths. U.S. recoveries are 706,299. We've remarked before at this broadcast that, 100,000 deaths is nothing to shake a stick at. It's really not. And by the way, thank you everybody on the early bird squad of Bear Nation for being here, because it is early. Those were the first sips of coffee that I've had today. But today is day of prep for us. Tomorrow is the Sabbath for us, and we have a lot of moving parts today. We have new people coming into the Bear Clan today. We have stuff that we have to do outside today. We have vehicle maintenance that we have to do. We have other business things that we have to do. There's construction projects that have to happen. There's all kinds of things that have to happen today. So I appreciate y'all hanging in there with us early today. It's 6:44 local AM at the moment. So bless y'all. 100,000 deaths is a tragedy no matter what. It's not the kind of tragedy you tank the global economy for. Global deaths are 400,000. And you can make the argument that if what has been done had not been done, then we could have way more deaths. Okay, good argument. Here's the thing. I believe we're all over it. Somebody asked me recently, yo Bear, is hashtag waking the giant off because of all this rioting? No, it's not. Peaceably assemble and redress your grievances to your government on the 4th of July, Independence Day, and let them know we will not be effed with and we don't need your permission to exist. Now more than ever with everything that's going on, I think it's still incredibly important that we take a stand and say, we're here, we don't need your permission to exist. I don't need your permission to feed my family. You've made it clear in many, many areas of the country that you will stand by and let violent people have their way, rather than engaging because you're worried about this litigious society that we live in and the political fallout of you being even thought to be racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever. We're here, and we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, all women are created equal and endowed by their creator, not their government, their creator, with certain inalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So yeah, more than ever, we need hashtag waking the giant. And I've got some promo codes for you from Sanctified Supply Co., which is awesome. They're a little company, man. It's a man and his wife that make t-shirts, and the Bear Nation has just blown them up with orders, and I love you guys for it. Thank you for supporting that small business. And you can get the Waking the Giant t-shirt from sanctifiedsupplyco.com. And this is not a sales pitch. I'm just saying so many of y'all have asked. And you can use code USA for $5 off, and you can use code BEAR for 10% off any order at Sanctified Supply Co. Promo code BEAR for 10% off, and USA for $5 off the Waking the Giant tee. Very cool. All right. Active cases for the U.S. have dropped again. Good. Of course, we pontificate that there will very likely be a second wave because people are out there screaming and yelling and burning things to the ground, rioting. Part of the massive report that was dropped on Patreon last night was a caveat from the head dance monkey in charge that we used the term protests when they are peaceful, and we use the term riots when those assembled are not peaceful, just so that everybody's clear here. And that's kind of broad brush strokes of what the HDMIC was saying. Had Dance Monkey in charge, that's right. But you can find more of that essentially buried in the report at Patreon, because it's a big report. Protests and riots continue. The general conflict seems to be forming a little more distinctly along the divides between white conservatives and businesses and those who support socialist bent ideologies. The dust has not settled and confusion and chaos continue for now. Millions of people are skipping mortgage and other bill payments as 21.5 million Americans remain unemployed. 1,877,000 jobless claims were made last week. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti has announced that he will not be raising the budget for the police after all. This is in support of activists' call to slash the police department funds. The mayor said that $250 million in cuts to the proposed budget would be reallocated to communities of color, $100 to $150 million of which will come from the police department budget. Calls for police defunding are spreading nationwide. Actionable here. Police defunding is spreading nationwide. So many of y'all are crying out, saying, Bear, what do we do? The world's on fire, literally, what do we do? Okay. Frankly, when it comes to the monetary stuff, I'm not terribly qualified to talk on it. I've historically been a really good earner, but a terrible saver. But by deploying self-awareness, I've now forced myself, probably over the last 5 years, to start saving money. Continue to just bust my ass and make money, but save. And it was saving that allowed us to step into the opportunity to be blessed to move onto this piece of property that we're on now. And it's saving that has allowed us to grow the businesses that we have, because we had money to do it with. And I realized it's difficult. When I say we saved money, I mean, like, we did not go out. We did not buy fast food. We got like a pizza delivered maybe once a month. We did not buy anything expensive that we didn't need. We did very, very little of that and just socked money away. And the other thing that I did was worked 70, 80, 100 hours a week to get whatever money I could get. And people would remark all the time, man, Bear, you look tired. No joke, bro. I'm not faking it. I'm tired. But economic crisis-wise, lots of people would maybe say, have some gold, have some silver, and that's probably a good idea. I like gold and silver more as owning something of value that allows you to maintain wealth, rather than a denomination used to barter and trade with. And the reason for that is, in amongst my tribe, my crew, my mag, there's enough of us that have precious metals that we could barter and trade with them. But I think in the general population, there's not a critical mass of small denomination silver in order to use it as currency. And so I think it works better to maintain some type of wealth rather than to use it to buy, sell, trade. When it comes to police departments being defunded, this police department is not defunded. This police department is bringing in new people all the time. This police department's bringing new equipment in all the time. This police department will have in the near future 3 privately owned ranges to train on in the very near future. Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. And to be clear, I have all the love in the world for our good, constitutionally supporting law enforcement officers out there and peace officers. but I have always been my own first responder. Another thing that you might consider is this police department, also good to go, okay? So, thanks for the prop, brother.
No problem, man.
Our tribe is in very large part predicated on taking personal responsibility. There's that old saying, the cops get there in time to draw chalk lines on the street, and that's pretty accurate. So what can you do? Take personal responsibility. Train. Well, Bear, I can't because of COVID. Nuh-uh, try harder. Find people to train with. A Google search that does not yield results within the first 3 seconds is not trying. Let me repeat that. A Google search that does not yield search results within the first 3 seconds is not trying. Try harder. Find people. Network. Train. What weapon should I get? The one you can get at this point. Shelves are bare. We were at our local FFL recently. It was maybe 15, 20% capacity.
If that, dude.
If that, they can't get product.
Ammo too.
Ammo too. So what should I get? What you can get. If you don't own any firearms right now, what should I get? What you can get. So, India and Australia have made a deal which enables them to use each other's military bases. That's good. That's good, especially when you consider war in the South China Sea, because you've got India essentially to the northwest and Australia to the southeast. And they are both more or less in line with United States military will in the region. So that's good. India is looking to make a military logistics pact with Japan. This is very good because if you have essentially, let's see, as you're looking at it, you'd have India up here, Japan over here, up here, and Australia down here, encircling the area of operations is good. India also has existing military logistics pacts with the United States, France, South Korea, Singapore, and Australia. This is good. This is good. Good in the context that when war happens with China, assuming that these people keep up their end of the bargain, we have areas to launch from. We have bases of operation that we can stage troops, equipment, materiel, and branch out from there. Remember the Marine Corps' new littoral regiment, LITTORAL, littoral, which means to be within, it's the shallow waters within sight of the shoreline. These ships that they're putting together now are crewed by like 38 or 40 sailors. They're small ships, 37 millimeter recoilless gun and rockets. But the whole idea is to be able to operate in intercoastal regions. Why would we need one of those? Doing away with tanks, moving towards littoral.
Reminiscent of World War II tactics.
Yeah, reminiscent of World War II tactics.
Island hopping.
Island hopping. South China Sea, man.
That's what the Army is.
The Navy is moving equipment, the United States Navy is moving equipment into the South China Sea. Things are, I wouldn't quite say we're at powder keg yet, but the keg's there. And every day they pour a little bit more powder into it. And there's half a dozen bad actors just standing there with a box of matches going, is today the day that we... So, again, what do we do? If war's coming, how much of the things that you touch in your daily life are made in China? Mindset shift from consumer to producer. How do I make the things that I need rather than buy the things that I need? How do I grow the food that I need rather than buy the food that I need? Mindset shift. producer, not consumer. Again, getting back to, I have historically been a great earner, but a bad saver. I have historically been a profoundly good consumer. I was really good at just buying crap. Really good at it. I am trying and have been trying for years, longer than you and I have been having these conversations. I have been trying to get better and better at being a producer, not a consumer. And so literally audit your life. Look around and go, Berkey, we got a Berkey water filter. Maybe if I can, I'm gonna work, if I can, 10 extra hours of OT, or I'm gonna take my miter saw and my nail gun and go run some base molding for these people who are building this house on Sunday afternoon, or Friday after work, or Tuesday morning before work, or whatever, and get a few extra $100 so that I can get some spare filters for my Berkey, just so that I have them, or whatever. Oh, I would like to get some extra magazines for that rifle over there, or I need more lamp oil for my oil lamps because I have oil lamps, because I'm well aware that the grid likely will go down at some point and I'd like to be able to see without shining flashlights all over the place. So start literally auditing your life and figure out how to get depth and redundancy on the things that you need now, so that if those supply chain logistics go away because of war in the South China Sea, you're not terribly affected by it. And you know, we've only got so much time this morning, and as I've said, a lot of y'all have been asking for the actionable aspects of this report. Okay, cool story, Bear. You've given me the information, now what do I do about it? So I'm going to try and do a better job of that this morning, but rather than have a 3-hour long brief because of that, there's going to be some things that we're not going to touch on in this brief because I simply won't have the time to do it, which yet again gets back to the entirety of this brief is posted on Patreon. And patrons, I love y'all. Could not do this without you. Would not do this without you. And the day that Skynet, as my brother Kyle at Survival Prepping for Normal People calls it, the day that Skynet pulls our plug, the day that YouTube says, hey, we don't like you, later, bro, you know where we'll still be? Patreon. So, by the way, where's our brother Daniel Streety? Bread for war. Damn, Bear, you thick. That's right, girl. That's right. Okay. 2 or more eyewitness accounts, continuity of infrastructure and supply chains. Repeating, due to civil unrest, many stores are closing and or reducing hours, and roads and public transit systems are closing at least temporarily. This will affect delivery routes. Additionally, many sellers are removing guns and ammo from their shelves. Producer, not consumer. Producer, not consumer. And mini rant again, if you're gonna buy something from a small business and it's not at your doorstep 14 hours after you hit pay now, a little grace would be appreciated. The whole world is on fire and or in quarantine. Literally, there are people in the streets blocking the roadways. We are all doing our best. And we, by the hand of the Most High, are still within our stated fulfillment times on the website. Praise Yah. But there are a lot of small businesses out there that need your business. They need your revenue, but they don't need your guff. Grace, mercy, forgiveness, love, joy. Be nice to people. Stay humble and kind. Sanctified Supply Co. Stay humble and kind. That's for all of us. My Anchored, bless you. Thank you. Matthew Ford, thank you. Mosh and Jotty, bless you. Thank you. And Angela Cipriano. I'm guessing you're related to James Cipriano, and if you're not, maybe you ought to be. Bless y'all. Thank you very much. Repeating, prices continue to skyrocket while availability dwindles for many preparedness items like pressure canners and rain barrels. Now would be a great time to start networking with people. As I stated yesterday, just because you can't find it on the internet doesn't mean you can't find it in real life. Go for a drive. Go look around. There are things that I know exist all over the place, but you can't find it online. A lot of people say, Bear, I can't find property. Even people that we know who are looking in this area. And no, I'm not going to tell you exactly what area I'm in, because OPSEC, bro. But people look for land around here, and guess what? Most of it is not on the internet. It's not listed on MLS. It's just, you got to know that Farmer Bob has a cousin named Leroy whose best friend Joe, his daughter recently got married, and they decided to sell off this little plot of land over here, and that little plot of land is 60 acres. River bottom, wooded, with some nice pasture. Okay, but it's not on the internet. No, there's very few people in this area who have thought, I'd like to sell that piece of land. Well, let me whip out my smartphone and take some pictures and send that to the realtor lady, and she can put it up there on that MLS thing, and she could turn that into some money in my bank account. That's not how it's done around here. There's stuff everywhere, that you have to go talk to people. And I know that scares the piss out of most of y'all, but it shouldn't. Guys, it's like kindergarten. A friend of mine said, you're not teaching people how to be prepared, you're teaching them how to make friends. And in a way, she's right. Go talk to people. It's okay, they're not gonna be mean to you. They're not gonna kick sand into your face on the playground. And if they are, now you've gathered intel on that person. Hey, that person's a scumbag. Okay, noted. Next, right? Go talk to people. Just because you can't find it on the internet doesn't mean it doesn't exist in real life. Go look with your eyes. Again, a Google search that does not return the results that you would like to see within 3 seconds is not research. That is the first molecule at the very top of the tip of the iceberg. You reap what you sow. The more energy you put into this, the more you'll get out of it. If you put the minimal amount in, you will receive the minimal amount back out. You will be minimally prepared, if at all, to weather the storm that not is coming, but is here. And this is another OODA loop mindset shift thing. It's here. There is rioting in the streets. We're talking about defunding the police. 50 to 60 secret security personnel were, Secret Service personnel were injured during a coordinated multi-day attack on the White House, resulting in the president having to be moved to the bunker. There is orchestrated Antifa terrorism going on all over the place, with bricks being dropped all over the place. The economy is in shambles. There are locusts eating the food everywhere, and in other places of the country, mine included, it's either pouring rain or so terribly hot that the crops don't know whether they should drown to death or just wither and die. You can't get meat. It's here, people. Is it chaos actual? For us, no, it's not. But for some of y'all, it might be, because you're in the wrong place. And we've talked about population density before over and over and over again. Well, Bear, I can't leave. You can't leave? There's people burning stuff right down the road from you, and you can't leave? Yes, you can. Can't doesn't exist. The moment you say you can't, you're absolutely right. You know what? Ring the bell and give up. Bless y'all, and thank you. It's here. Adjust your OODA loop. Maybe we go back to some kind of new normal. What's an OODA loop? Observe, orient, decide, act. Observe it. We're observing it. Yeah, it's here. You have to orient on that. You have to point all of your mental faculties and your ability to listen and see and do towards that thing. It's here. Then you have to decide, what am I gonna do? Bear, I can't leave. You have decided to not leave. Or Bear, I am GTFOing. Good, you've decided to GTFO. And then you have to act. Then you have to actually do it. It's here. It's here. It's here. Civil unrest is affecting food availability. For example, CBS Minnesota recently reported that, quote, Longfellow neighborhood is almost a food oasis with one open grocery store, end quote. The closures and damage has further narrowed access to food, exacerbating the pre-existing issue of rising food prices due to the economic impact of the pandemic. I've been saying for 2 or more years with y'all, we are going to have a let them eat cake moment, and people are going to lose it in the streets. You think the riots are bad now. Guess what happens when the next round of Trump bucks doesn't come and people can't buy food because there isn't any, and even if there was, they couldn't afford it. And there's no police or very limited police presence, and people lose it. They lose it. And there is legit. Sally Homemaker is losing it. Bob from the hardware store is losing it. There is legit riot and chaos. And then the National Guard of the military really has to step in. Now what happens? Put that in context of the November elections. OODA loop. It's here. It's here. Pay attention. Wake up. It's here. Thank you, Janice. You're awesome. Appreciate you. Legal, political, and military. In Washington, D.C., the unidentifiable law enforcement officers without insignia or nameplates are prison riot police. Repeat. In Washington, D.C., the unidentifiable law enforcement officers without insignia or nameplates are prison riot police. Even the police are not comfortable with this due to accountability concerns as well as safety concerns due to the inability to identify them. Kyle, at Survival Prepping for Normal People, who I've now said his name 3 times or so this morning, I support him on Patreon because he does good work, and he had a post yesterday talking about I believe his name was Mr. Wong in California, who was dressed like a National Guardsman with a rifle, no unit badge, no name tapes, and somebody realized, hey, this guy's not supposed to be here, and he was arrested, I believe.
He was former National Guard, I think.
Uh-huh.
No longer.
What was he doing there?
Yeah.
Bad actor. Bad actor. What was he doing there? It's here. Orient. Get from observing to orienting, then decide what you're going to do about it, and then do it. Act. New York City's mayor expressed reluctant understanding for the police officer in the SUV that drove into a crowd of protesters when he was surrounded and had projectiles thrown at his vehicle. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, perhaps the dumbest person I've ever heard of, stated via tweet that his comments were unacceptable. Ducks, good job. I love OODA loops. The honey-coated OODA loops are the best. I like those breakfast cereals the most. They're very good. I'm waiting for them to come out with a chocolate and peanut butter OODA loops, because that would be the best. We should do this. Somebody out there that actually knows about making cereal, please get a hold of me. I would love to provide OODA loops breakfast cereal at the Bear Store. Let's do this thing. I'm all in. I love entrepreneurship. As the world burns, let's create new products and prosper together. Let's do it. Several groups in Kansas City are calling for the police chief to resign or be fired, saying that he has allowed police to overreact on the protest line and that he is more concerned about protecting the department than the public. With all love to our law enforcement officers, for this many United States Supreme Court cases have determined that the police have no actual requirement to protect or serve you. 4, getting back to you are your own first responder. They have no legal requirement to actually protect you or serve you. You cannot sue the police department if somebody's breaking into your house and they don't get there in time. They are not liable. They have no actual legal requirement to protect and to serve you. Now, it's a nice thing graphicked onto the side of a police cruiser to protect and to serve on one side, and in God we trust on the other side. And again, no fault at all of our law enforcement brethren here, not one iota, but they are not legally required to protect and serve you. You are your own first responder. According to an internal TSA memo, uniformed Secret Service officers are being assaulted and ICE facilities have been attacked. TSA agents are advised to cover their uniform or change upon arrival as they may be mistaken for law enforcement. This memo is on Patreon. An internal TSA memo, it's on Patreon in the report that was posted. If you don't believe at this point that this is highly coordinated, we have attacks on Secret Service at the White House. We have attacks on ICE facilities. We have bricks staged in the street. We have attacks on law enforcement specifically. We have the shutting down of conservative voices all over on all types of platforms, including this. We have people being commanded to, good morning, Guns Gadgets, good morning. People being commanded to stay in their homes. We have all types of ridiculous legislature, body armor, Horgarth, bless you, thank you. Body armor and firearms being proposed and potentially passed right now. If you don't think that this whole thing is highly coordinated, you're out of your mind. It's highly, highly coordinated. For what end goal? This is a power struggle for nothing more than control of the United States of America. That's all. No biggie. No biggie. I'm content to say they can have the cities. I'm not in the cities. Ba ba da ba da ba da. And I heard another voice from the heavens saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. Because her sins have piled up to reach the heavens, and Elohim has remembered her unrighteousnesses. Render to her as she indeed did render, and repay her double according to her works. And the cup which she has mixed, mix for her double." According to her works. Let's not even get started on works-based theology. But are you making the Father smile this morning, or are you making him puke in his mouth a little bit? Who do you serve? Babylon or your Creator? Societal in general. While groups of people both for and against the events taking place are from all different backgrounds and ethnicities, racism and political tension is boiling online. Again, bricks are being planted before protests citywide. Pics of this all over Patreon. Many thefts of firearms have occurred as looters target firearms dealers. Both looters and owners have been injured and killed in these events when the owners are present. We have received several success stories involving local militias turning out to protect towns. In the real-life examples submitted, a strong and prepared local militia presence has ensured that protests remain peaceful. Rioters to be turn around and leave, or a riot is quickly quelled and dismissed. Wrong town, homie. Keep walking. Okay. Okay. Philly Flash, bless you. Thank you. And thank you for your service, brother. Intel at bearindependent.com is where you send your intel. Intel is two things. It is independently verifiable and actionable, okay? It's not your cousin's uncle's brother's nephew has a friend that one time played football with a guy at Penn State who told him that his sister said that her pet monkey got a text from a guy. That's not intel. I saw it on Facebook is not intel. Intel is actionable and independently verifiable. And let me repeat that. I saw it on Facebook is not intel. This is a major problem with everybody, or almost everybody, in the United States right now. I saw it on Facebook does not count as intel. It's information. It could very well be incorrect information, but it ain't intel, okay? Unless you can independently verify the information that you found on Facebook through reputable sources. And the more questionable that intel is, the more verification you should give that piece of intel, piece of information. And then determine if there's anything I can actually do with this information, or is this just nonsense? Ergo, is it actionable? Then you have a piece of intel, which is precisely what we are trying to bring to you every morning when we do this brief. Thank you, None Your Business. You're freaking awesome. So, intel@bearindependent.com. You send your intel to intel@bearindependent.com, and you send your praise for the dance monkeys. Isn't that correct, Ron Page 101? Thank you, brother. To intel@bearindependent.com. At bearindependent.com, you'll find the Bear Store. You can get cool things like this patch. There's another gray man patch as well. It's gray and black. It's very cool looking. I'm not at the store today, so I can't show you all the cool things in the store because I'm not there. But you can get your stomp bags. You can get the trauma pack inserts that our brother Badger asked for that so many of y'all wanted. That is like a mini stomp bag designed to go inside of your existing pack, purpose built for trauma. It's got sutures, wound closure in there, all kinds, hemostats and shears and bandage scissors and sutures and steri strips and scalpels and povidone iodine and lots of gauze and blah, blah, blah. You can get the bare minimum. This is my bare minimum, which is why it says bear on it. IFAC. This is a Gen 1 bare minimum. I'm sorry, a Gen 1.5. Good morning, Sean. Thank you. But even then, look at the stitching. And look at how well it's holding up. Thing is awesome. Handmade by Brother Cody. You can get these at the store. Handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. If you break it, I want to know about it. Not only will I send you another one, I want to know how you broke it so that we don't have that problem again. And again, North American Rescue components for about $100 cheaper than the Chinesium garbage that everybody else is selling. You see, first aid kits are highly commoditized. The way it works, and I've done my market research on this, the way it works is you find a producer in China that makes cheap bags, and that's the driver, cheap bags. And then you acquire those cheap bags case upon case at a time. You have to buy it in case lots. So give me a case of the black, and a case of the gray, and a case of the coyote. Okay, and these cases come. And those bags, like for example, the big My Medic bag that's like base $375. That bag costs $8.74. And it comes from a factory in China, Jinhao province of China. I have their contact information. Going to Mountain after work. Bless you, Philly. And so you get that bag for $8.74. You put a bunch of, in the case of, for example, My Medic, commoditized, cheap medical gear inside of it, and you sell it for $375 when you got maybe $100 into it. That's not what we do. This is made in America by hand on our pattern, which is trademarked. This is ours. Nobody else makes this pouch. It doesn't come from China. It comes from freaking Arkansas right now, soon to be Oklahoma. Made by hand, by Americans. Hand stuffed by me and Yankee, and sometimes my wife. My hands pack your kit. I say a little prayer over each one of those as I'm packing them. Hey, Father, I hope that whoever uses this, whoever gets this, doesn't have to use it. And if they do, it'll save a life. And our kits have saved 5 lives. That's freaking cool. So they're legit, they're proven. It's not commoditized bullcrap like everybody else. They buy the pads, they put the low quality stuff inside of it, and they just sell it. Rob the Sparky, bless you, brother, thank you. That's not what we do. We do the exact opposite of that. This kit was built from the ground up with input from Special Forces. It has been tested by Special Forces medics. It is in service with Air Force Pararescue. It is in service with a couple of different Marine Corps units. It's in service with a couple of units that are currently deployed in Afghanistan. It's being used by Air Force nurses deployed in the South China Sea right now. Law enforcement officers everywhere, sheriffs everywhere. These things are on 4x4 off-road vehicles out in the middle of nowhere in Australia, which I think is really cool. I mean, they're just purpose-built for saving lives. That's why they exist. They're not, this is not the commoditized bullcrap that everybody sells where they get their own individual patch and stick, boom, trauma pack. It's a trauma pack patch now. You can put that, it's the same kit. Everybody else sells the same kit, not us. We built ours from the ground up to save lives. So, bless y'all. Bearstore.com and adventurefrontier.com. Listen. The Boogaloo's kicking off, right? Apparently. You got any armor? Nope. Guess what's probably gonna happen? Maybe gonna happen? Armor ban. AdventureFrontier.com has armor right now, Spartan armor. I think he's got the Condor Mop C, which is the plate carrier I run. Michigan Susan, bless you. Well, you should do it. I'm looking eager to see what your son's beard looks like. How old is he? 4? 4 is a good age for a beard. I like it. Adventure Frontier, armor, Condor Mop C, modular operator's plate carrier, which is the plate carrier that I run, with front, back, and side plates, I think for $250-ish base price right now. That's a good price. That's a good price. So if you don't have armor and you need armor, adventurefrontier.com. You can use promo code BearNation, get you $10 off your order, and I'm telling you right now, there's not a lot of margin in armor. Ask me how I know, #business. There's not a lot of margin in armor. So for him to give you $10 off using promo code BearNation is a good deal. It's a really good deal. And while you're there, you can also get the Bear Fac and the Bear Minimum at his store to hang on your plate carrier, chest rig, war belt, whatever. So adventurefrontier.com. Bless y'all. Alrighty. Single accounts, insider intel, and miscellaneous. There have been reports that Antifa is planning to bus Antifa terrorists to the vicinity of Sparta, Illinois, where they are expected to, quote, target rural white Americans by burning farmhouses and killing livestock. The Red Cross should just go ahead and deploy in Sparta, Illinois right now and bring however many body bags Antifa intends to bring protesters. Just to be ready for it. You should get a dozer and a front end loader there right now and just start digging graves, because that is the worst idea I've ever heard. There will be, the rivers will run red with blood. Bad idea, Antifa, bad idea. And something that they're probably not aware of, but in Oklahoma, cattle rustling, that's a killing offense. You come onto my property and mess with my cattle, I can shoot you dead and not even have to fill out a form. I know somebody that had 3 people who cut his fence, backed up a semi to the fence, were running his cattle out of the fence and into this trailer, and from horseback 400 yards away, he shot all 3 of them. Good horse, good rifleman. He got the first guy unaware. The second guy turned to look, racked the bolt, dropped him. Third guy took off running, trying to get around the truck, and he caught him on the run from 400 yards away, horseback. Took him out. Cops showed up. He rode down, got his cattle back in his fence, fixed his fence, rode up to the house, called the cops and said, hey, y'all need to come out here with a wagon. Cops came out and they said, hey, what happened? He said, these three a-holes were trying to steal my cows and I shot them. Okay. Y'all have a good day. The end. Don't let those punks come to this area of the world. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Michigan Susan. Joshua has 31 special needs. No beard, just mohawk. Awesome. Good morning, Joshua. Yes, do the mohawk, Joshua. The whole Bear Nation agrees that you need a mohawk, Joshua. You should definitely do it. From a contributor in Mayvern, Arkansas, brick capital of the world, home of Acme Brick Company. Sources here say bricks have been shipped out nationwide without buyer tags. What? That contributor, if you are within the sound of my voice, please keep digging or tell me who I need to talk to there. Please. We need to get to the bottom of this. Thank you for reaching out, but please keep digging or tell me who I need to talk to so that we can dig. A viewer responded to the brick controversy. I work for a large city in Texas, and I can personally tell you that we spent a large part of the day removing bricks. We run the helicopters over the planned protest routes to locate piles, then city trucks with PD removes the bricks prior to any marches. We don't always get them all, but I assure you, police don't want to get hit in the head with bricks. I believe it. From New Orleans. The protests are not as peaceful as the media is portraying them. The protesters told the police to kneel and they'd get off the highway. The protesters told the police to kneel and then they would get off the highway. They knelt. There's a pic on Patreon of this. Then they told them to give them their badges, then they'd leave. No badges came off. The protesters did not leave. They convinced the new deputy chief of police to leave the interstate first. He complied and they declared victory. Quote from an officer, I've begun to look for a new department to transfer to. I'm not effing kneeling. That's a hill I'll die on. Good for you. Good for you. Coming out to Oklahoma, we've got room for people like you. You could be police chief of Bear Clan. Let's do this thing. Quote, Democratic mayors in Georgia cities are attempting to remove long-standing historical monuments. The removal of monuments is a criminal offense in direct violation of Georgia's Monument Protection Act, OCGA 50-3-1. OCGA 50-3-1. Quote, some of the police cars that have been destroyed were left there intentionally to see if and whom would destroy them. These are cars about to be retired and were used as bait in areas where there are surveillance cams. Well, I hope you did something more than allow for the destruction of public property. I hope that you got something actionable out of that. International. A 2-year-old boy and his mother and 2 men were shot in London. The little boy is in critical condition. While this was not related to the London protests, which turned violent, please note that the gun laws, which prevent law-abiding citizens from having the means to defend themselves, do not protect you from this kind of violence. Protests can turn to riots. Criminals in possession of firearms may very well be present in these riots. Do not assume that you are exempt from danger due to legislation. You are your first line of defense. We, everybody, every adult in this house carries a weapon all the time. When I'm in my gym shorts, I've got a subcompact 9 tucked inside my gym shorts. Okay? Everybody carries a weapon all the time. We don't roll vehicles without long guns. And we don't roll vehicles very far from home at all. OODA loop. This is the world we live in right now. And I pray to the Most High, literally, daily, that we might go back to some semblance of normalcy. But we're not there right now. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. The protests have spread internationally. England, Germany, France, Spain, Denmark, Italy, Syria, Brazil, Mexico, Ireland, New Zealand, Canada, Poland, Australia, and more. If you do not believe that this is highly organized, I would believe that you are wrong. There is an entire page of debunking misinformation here. I'm going to do a couple of them. Many of you, 7:30, yeah, I gotta leave in 10 minutes. Many of you have sent a viral video of police in an alley with a black truck full of bricks, claiming it is proof that the police are planting bricks for the protests. The police department for Northeastern University has said that the officers are theirs and they were removing those loose bricks from the sidewalk for public safety reasons. A news photographer took photos of the spot in the sidewalk the bricks were removed from. Footage and photos of bricks and rocks have been spread, with the authors alleging that the materials were planted to be used in protests. Upon investigation, some of that footage and photos were taken before George Floyd even died, and other materials were there for other reasons that were removed before the protests occurred. Again, just because there's a video or there's a picture doesn't make it true. The pallets of bricks planted before protests appeared to be manufactured by Acme Brick Company, the largest brick maker in the U.S., but it is still unknown who is purchasing and or delivering the brick. The following information is unconfirmed. Repeat, the following information is unconfirmed. Some viewers have reported unmarked vehicles with no DOT numbers, Department of Transportation numbers, transporting the bricks, and others have said that they have seen video of unmarked trucks without plates delivering the bricks. Others say the bricks have been stolen from various construction sites. The rest of this is on Patreon. Actionable. This whole report is actionable, by the way. That's how we do this. And thank you for assisting us in the doing of this. In larger population centers, militia are an outnumbered distraction. However, in smaller towns, it has been seen over and over that when local armed peacekeepers and patriots line the streets, trouble does not get out of hand. Are you and your neighbors organized and prepared for rioters targeting your area? Are you in communication with your sheriff's department as a group? If you have a ham radio, and you should, you can go online, and it is public information what frequency your sheriff's department is using. You should program that into your radio. Just saying. And as far as being ready for rioters, how many times I got to do this? Yeah, that's right. The Magpul stock that doesn't want to collapse right now. You know the deal, but it is a side folder. Let's party. Come on, guys. There have been instances of impersonation during these protests and riots. Pay attention to who's who, or don't be there at all. Harry Golden, thank you. Michigan Susan, thank you. New firearms record, all of your information is on the front page. Don't do that. Don't let people take pictures of that. The rest of this is on Patreon, y'all. Silver linings. In our small town of Louisiana, Missouri, that's not confusing at all. That's like Kansas, Oklahoma. In our small town of Louisiana, Missouri, there was a protest down at the riverfront about 2 blocks from our house. Concern ensued. However, because our Elohim is so amazing, a huge thunderstorm came through and boom, no more protest. The Father comes in the clouds, man, that is awesome. We slept well and safely by the grace of Yahweh. Praise the Most High. Amen, that is awesome. Another viewer says, quote, I found you randomly months ago and by the grace of God, I got hooked on your daily report. My fiance and I work constantly, so we almost never attend church, but I have found something in your Bible studies that has helped me to be more understanding and bring God into my family's life. Through God, you have definitely helped light a fire in my life. I have a 16 by 8 garden that I'm expanding this week to 20 by 8. I have multiple bucket veggies and I've gotten my gear up. My family still isn't as on board with what you and I see, but they will, and I'm prepping enough, hopefully, to cover their preps as well. I've been a lost soul for a very long time, but I'm starting to work my way to walking with God. You're a good man, and I very much appreciate what you do. I'm nothing. He's everything. But bless you. Luckily, this week, I was able to buy 2 raffle tickets and become a Patreon member. Now I'm budgeting to get an IFAC and some of that hero soap so my balls tingle. LOL, bless you and all of yours. Praise the Most High. He is totally badass, and he goes beast mode for his kids when we heed his voice. Awesome. Notes, local food resources, bearindependent.com, like-minded groups, bearindependent.com, the forums at bearindependent.com. Online stores got all the stuff in it. IFACs, goats and hose t-shirts, tactical chicken stickers, bear patches, stomp bags, trauma inserts. Hell, I don't even know what else is there. Thumb drives, scriptures. We can't keep the scriptures in stock. We praise the Father. We order 120 scriptures a week, and we can't keep them in stock. 120 is the max order. That's the max we're allowed to order, and we can't keep them in stock. So bless y'all. If you want a copy of the scriptures and we don't have them in stock, you can go to www.isr, India Sierra Romeo Messianic.org. That is the Institute for Scriptural Research. This is the scriptures, and that is the Institute for Scriptural Research. ISR Messianic.org. Institute for Scriptural Research. So, to support Grindstone Ministries, you can buy a raffle ticket, $5. You got about 10 more days to buy raffle tickets. We're closing this on the 15th, so that gives us 2 weeks to continue to fill out and remit all the raffle tickets, and we will draw, I think it's the 31st, which is Tactical Tuesday live. We're going to draw the winner live on that Tactical Tuesday live stream. So you got 10 more days to get raffle tickets. They're $5 a piece, and you have a chance to win now about $1,800 worth of custom gear and bear swag, and yeah, raffle tickets. Get them while you can. They're going fast. To support Grindstone, you can drink a cup of coffee, disastercoffee.com, which is freaking tremendous. It's really good, believe me. I think I need some. Or you can get dressed with the Sanctified Supply Co. You can use code USA for $5 off the Waking the Giant t-shirt, and you can use code BEAR for 10% off any order. And go tell Lucia and Jerry you said shalom, because they're freaking cool people. They're just little. They're just young family, kids out there, crazy kids are like, let's start a t-shirt company. And they, what did they buy? I think they bought a patch or a sticker or something. And I just happened to, coincidence, right? Everything's coincidence. I was looking through the orders, which is not my job. I was like, Sanctified Supply Co. That is a cool name. I wonder if they actually understand what sanctified means. And I went to their website and I was looking, just playing on my phone looking, and I'm like, oh, these people get it. And then I saw that Stay Humble and Kind shirt. I was like, yes, I need this. This is my uniform. I need this reminder written on my chest. Stay humble and kind. So I bought that shirt. And I sent them and I got one for my wife as well. Grace and Grit and Gratitude. Grace, Grit, and Gratitude. I was like, that's a good shirt. So I bought those 2 shirts, and I put a little note, for Bear, for Homie, smiley face, I think. And they reached out, and they were like, oh my gosh, we love you guys. And we reached back, and we're like, hey, you guys are cool. And then when we started putting this raffle together, I said, hey, do you guys want to be a part of this raffle? And they're entrepreneurs, they have a good spirit, and so they leaned into the opportunity and they said, yes, can we please be part of this raffle? And y'all, the Bear Nation, have done an awesome job of supporting them. And so thank you for supporting small businesses, including Sanctified Supply Co., including Disaster Coffee, including Amendment the number 1 Preparedness, amendment1preparedness.com. A1P, Amendment 1 Preparedness, makes totally awesome ham radios that fit inside of ammo cans, self-contained. We use them at Grindstone Ministries. We use them at our tribe. We have these things all over the place. Several of my brothers have bought additional of these radios because they're just so convenient. To have a 25-watt radio in an ammo can with a battery backup that you can hook up to your car engine or your lawnmower or your solar panel or your whatever, or you can run on battery backup without any power source coming in, is very, very, very cool. So that's amendment the number 1 preparedness.com. Awesome. Thank y'all. 790,715 of y'all freaking rock stars. Again, tread on this. You're freaking awesome. Thank you. Again, the entirety of this report is available on Patreon. I really appreciate you. Stinger time. Bless you. Let's pray. Let's talk to the Father. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for this. Thank you for sanctification. That as the world burns and as society in so many places is on the brink of collapse, and as the worldwide pandemic rages and war builds, that we sit here warm and fed, safe and blessed. Thank you that your people are a peculiar people, that we are set apart unto you. Thank you for conviction and the will to follow it, and the will to bend our lives to conform to your will, to be in service to you, and to do the things that you tell us to do, to have a servant's heart, to slay our flesh daily and try and just come in line with you, with what you would have us do. Father, thank you for being sovereign over all things, including this chaos right now. We know that all this is preordained, that it's part of your plan. And although we don't know what precisely that plan is, I thank you that we get to be here to witness it unfolding. You are so big, and you are so powerful, and you are so awesome and mighty. That we tremble at your name. Father, thank you. Father, fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit. Father, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, we all come in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and cast it out. Father, I ask that you'd fill us up, that you would be indwelt in us, that we would walk in your presence, wield your power and authority, be shining examples of your strength and your love and your peace, that we'd be set on fire for you, that it'd be undeniable that we spend time with you, that we serve you, not the world. Father, all my brothers and sisters who are out there today, who are struggling to put one foot in front of the other, or to make sense of it all, or to just keep their head up. Father, I pray for them, that you would minister to their needs, that you would give them this day their daily bread, that you would bring the comfort and the peace that surpasses all understanding, that you'd be Yahweh, our Elohim, and that we would be your people. Thank you for restoration and redemption through Yeshua Messiah. Thank you for giving us a life and showing us how to live it, and for imbuing us with a sense of purpose to serve your kingdom, so that hopefully at the end of an age we might hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Father, thank you for this. Thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. I just pray your blessings on all of this, and that you would use this time for your will. We ask all this in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, Bear Nation. We'll see y'all Monday morning. Stay frosty and go be the light. The world needs heroes. The world needs Yeshua. And you were not accidentally made. You were fearfully and wonderfully made for just such a time as this. Stay humble and kind and go be the light. Shalom.